Nebraska 82, USC 67. And Nebraska notches their 25th win of the season. They improve to 7-2 on the road in league play, 14-4 overall in league play right now. It's school record 14th Big Ten victory of the year. I believe it's a record-setting overall victory as well for Nebraska, and they go from down 5 at halftime to winning by 15, outscoring USC 51-31 in a laugher of a second half, and I mean laugher in the best way possible. It was a delight. It was a friggin' delight in that second half, and we have much to talk about on the show today. This is Nebrasketball Hour. It's brought to you by Nebraska Realty. Caleb, what office of Nebraska Realty are we sponsored by?
Ooh.
You just busted your mic.
Wahoo!
If you didn't hear, it's Wahoo.
It's Wahoo. It's W. Ooh.
It actually like mutes you because it's like that's too loud. That's inappropriate.
My daughter's sleeping for a change when we're doing this show, so I can actually, and I'm not, and I don't have to worry about getting kicked out of PBA.
Yeah, that's nice. This is and it's not in the middle of the night. You don't have to keep your wife up.
I might get kicked out of my apartment if we do that again, so we'll save it for the end of the show.
So yes, shout out Nebraska Realty, our title sponsor this year. If you're watching us now on YouTube, thank you for joining us. We are the part of the I-80 Club, and you can watch a lot of our stuff free right here on YouTube. It might help if you liked and subscribed. It would help. It would help out in getting notifications, that's for sure. So go ahead and do that. And if you want to get our premium stuff, Josh Peterson and I just did a subscribers only show today. Kind of take some questions, do a little inside info, say a little more maybe than we might without a paywall. So patreon.com/I80 Club. You also can get in our Discord then, be a part of the community, have people to watch the game with, all that stuff. We'd love for you to do that. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the I80 Club. Caleb, something changed, and I think I know what it was between the first half and the second half, but I always like to give you the floor at the beginning and get just your sort of take on what happened during the game. So 15-point win, the Huskers against USC. What is your response minutes after that game ended?
Sam Hoiberg.
There it is. Thank you. That's it for the show, everyone. That's it. We'll see you next time. And
make sure you like and subscribe. No, it's Sam Hoiberg, and there was a stat at one point that they showed on the broadcast where when Sam was on the floor, there had only been one turnover. Because remember, he left midway through the first half with 11:40 to go with his second foul. And then without him on the floor, there had been 7 Nebraska turnovers, and the offense looked different with him on the floor versus him off the floor. And that's not news. Just you were able to see it play out in real time today in LA when Sam was on the floor. And it's not like Nebraska was running away with the first half, but this team is so good in the second half. Plus, you have Hoiberg back on the floor, not worried about fouls when he didn't even pick up his third till late in that second half anyway. And then you get another 32 points from Price Sanford, who makes 5 today and is closing in on the not just Nebraska's single season record that he already has and is extending, but he's closing in on the Big Ten single season made 3-pointers record.
That is true. He got in the top 20 last time out, I believe. And so he was 20th coming into this game with 101. How many did he have today?
5.
Okay, so that jumps him up to a tie with Taylor Battle of Penn State for 15th. He's 1-3 from tying Steve Alford in the single season. And to get all the way up there, he would need 135. But I believe this includes the postseason too. So I believe that's the case with these. So if that's right, that's in play. 30 from here on out. Could it happen? I don't know. Carson
Well,
Edwards, by the way, he's got more than Shep Garner for Penn State in 2017, 2018.
and I'm curious if there's a record for just Big Ten play only, because they had mentioned on the broadcast that Stanford's now 6 made threes away from that record. Away from the season record.
Yeah, so because I think Carson Edwards probably got a bump in the postseason when he hit his record on that one. And so yeah. But like he passed Denzel Valentine, he passed Bronson Koenig today. So pretty impressive stuff there for him. And he's got like Steve Alford, Joe Crispin in his sights. I'm trying to see any other big names that are up there. Drew Neitzel from Penn State, John Diebler from Ohio State, Luther Head from Illinois. Anyway, cool deal for him. But I mean, the story of the game is it just has to be exactly what you said at the beginning. And that is, I think we know now, we've talked about it. We've debated this at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year. Now at this point in the year is kind of who is Nebraska's most important catalyst. And I think we knew, but anyone who doubted anymore that it's Sam Hoiberg, it couldn't have been more clear with that game today. The difference between how everything on both sides of the floor looked with Sam Hoiberg in there was massive from the first half to the second half. And he's been one of the few players this year, I think, that has been, consistently his best self the most often on this team. And I like, there's just not enough out there that you can even say. And it sounds like you're being corny and waxing poetic about the local kid and the good story and the coach's son. And, the guy who looks like one of us if we spent 4 hours in the gym every day. And like, but like, what can you say about what he does out there? And Caleb, I'm glad he went out there and proved my point today about his new thing that he does, which is try and play on rebounds like he's 6'9", 280, and had some success with that today. But what a dang catalyst on this team that he is. It is just, and man, that second half starts and you're like, well, I wonder if Hoiberg will give him a spark. Right away, he is part of I don't know if he or Price got that steal at the very beginning.
Price got it right away and gave it to him. Yeah.
Price got it and he got it and he scored right off the bat. And you're like, well, that feels different. And in the blink of an eye, Nebraska erased the 5-point deficit. And then it was just, I mean, it was another case of it just looked like Nebraska just stole the will of USC. It's not surprising that Nebraska kind of stole the will of Maryland and Penn State toward the end of those games because those teams don't have a lot to play for. USC had everything to play for today.
Yeah.
That was a bigger game for them than Nebraska by far. And it sure didn't look like that in the second half, did it?
No, and this is where you're at the end of February, where how many times have we been talking about in past years, okay, for Nebraska, where are you at on the bubble? Can you get this one? Last year at this time, you were still saying, just win one and you'll make the Big Ten tournament. Like there was a lot to play for at this time of year. For Nebraska, It's seeding, but you're in the tournament. For USC, there's a whole lot still to play for as we enter the last week of the regular season to go into the Big Ten tournament. But Price or Sam being on the floor is just an energy. And Price had 2 threes in the first half. Those 2 were really early. And he made 2 and he scored 12 points. But he has 20 points in the second half, makes 3 more threes, is really aggressive getting to the rim. He had a dunk in transition. He is so special. And when he's able to then feed off of the energy from a guy like Sam being out there, Rienk hit a 3. Bearcay was massive defensively.
Oh my gosh, he had such a good game.
He had a block right away, and I was like, "Oh, here we go."
He was again. He had a good line. I actually had 4 assists. We'll go through the box score deeper a little bit later. But what he did in that game is not going to show up. He was another one who just getting rebounds, playing defense, making passes. He was great today. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned him right off the top because I made a mental note during the game. I was like, I've got to give Berkay a shout out in terms of the way that he played. And they didn't need it as much in the second half, but I will tell you what, in the beginning of that first half when Sam was in there, Rienk Mast looked a little Rienk Masty during during that first half. It wasn't the whole game,
baby.
but I was feeling a little masty on that one. As Janet Jackson talked about with the Masty Boys,
Yes.
he was driving a little bit. He hit a three. There were some flashes of old Mast that I want back so badly, and then just everything just went off kilter a bit. And USC was hitting threes, which they don't usually do, and they, by the way, did not end up for the game hitting threes, but they went on that little streak where what's his name, the Brownell, the Ivy League transfer.
Yeah,
he went on. He hit a few threes there, and they got a little hot from outside. But I mean, that second half, Fred Hoiberg seemed like he got in his bag, and I posted his name as Feed Hoiberg on Twitter when I tried to make that point, and so I'm glad I said it right now.
Good.
But the inbounds plays just scrambled USC's mind. I mean, the inbounds plays, that was all the best things about Nebraska's offense that we have remembered in their best moments this year. Just the cutters being there, the old Rienk getting double teamed and passing it to Berkay. Oh God. I mean, they murdered Wisconsin with that. It was like the highlights of my favorite parts of the offense.
Jack, the sideline out of bounds where Price is all alone.
If he had made that,
which, by the way, that possession, because you were starting to add up fouls already on USC in the second half in a way that you didn't in the first 20 minutes. So he misses that, gets fouled. He draws another foul right away and then still ends up getting a layup out of that possession. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't look great to miss a shot like that with no one within 15 feet of you.
Yeah.
But if you say, okay, you get to draw 2 fouls and you still get your points at the end of this possession, yeah, you probably take it because that's going to add up more for you in the long term over the course of the game.
Yeah. Mike, and by the way, Mike with a super chat, we will be talking we'll be interacting with the comments on our Discord, but if you want to get in on the YouTube page with a comment, if you have something you really want to say, you really want us to react to, go ahead and give us a super chat. You can do that like Mike did here. Thank you, Mike. I always appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
And Mike's a Creighton fan watching the Creighton game right now. They're down by 1 against Providence right now. Let's go Creighton, get a win here.
Yeah, roll Jays.
This shocks me. I mean, it doesn't shock me because I think Berkay had a great game, but I thought Sam was going to have a plus 40 in this game, but Mike posts the plus minus.
Yeah.
For Nebraska, Berkay had the most at 22, Sam with 20, and Sanford with 18. I thought it would be Sam. And so that just goes to show what a difference maker he was, even outside of the box score today, for sure.
Well, and for Berkay, because you think, okay, maybe Sam wasn't there because he wasn't on the floor as long. Well, Sam still ended up playing almost 3 minutes more than Berkay did in the game.
Well, yeah, when he sat for 10 minutes in the second half, I was going to be like, that guy is going to have legitimately too much energy at that because normally he usually builds toward more energy than anyone at the end of the game. And by the way, speaking of energy, I saw the most tired player I've ever seen in a basketball game today. What on earth was going on with I forget his name for USC now.
You tweeted about him. You asked if he did a marathon before.
I've never seen a player that tired in a game. Baker Mazara. In the first half, he got so tired. He is like, I mean, I don't know. He looks like he weighs about 185 soaking wet, and 172 is what he weighs. He played like he was as tired as if he weighed 320. I don't know what was going on. And I know he was hurt at the end of the game, and then he sat in the stands with the fans. There was a woman that was just scrolling her phone next to him. I don't know what was going on with. I had a hard time concentrating on the second half because whatever was going on with him was so distracting to me. And then he left.
And it was so
like,
interesting. I wanted to know more.
I wanted to know more about what's this guy's story about getting so tired. I want to know his origin tiredness story.
Well, Jack, speaking of soaking wet, to start the second half, we got the high def camera close up on Rienk Mast, who looked like he had showered at halftime.
I mean, now that all my daughter made the comment that I thought was very insightful. And she said, it looks like he's sweating more than usual today. And I said,
more than usual.
I said, that's an accomplishment if that happens. Some of the comments from the Discord. I like this one from Dusty. When was the last time we had 3 players with a dunk in the same game? That is an interesting one. That is an interesting one. I would like someone to go back and maybe Kenobi can figure that out, because I don't know if they keep stats on that kind of a thing. But what you had Price, you had Berkay, and you had, was it Frager or was it Rienk?
Rienk got a dunk.
Frager, I don't even think had one, did he? He missed one.
No, he missed. He took off from too far away, Jack. There was no foul.
That's right. Oh man. And again, it did not. I mean, it went both ways today, but you had a lot of Big Ten officiating in this game.
So you had that one, but then you also had, I thought Frager was going to dunk it in the second half when you had the kind of the full court pressure coming on for USC, and all of a sudden Braden's by himself and he takes off. I'm like, oh, he's going to dunk it. Instead, he threw it so hard off the backboard, I thought it was going to land outside the 3-point line.
Yeah. And from what Josh and I talked about this morning too, Frager looks like he's continuing his return to his full physical capabilities. I thought that it looked even more like that today. He had a couple of points. He had a couple of hoops in the second half where he drove by guys. He looked good. He was getting a lot of boards. He had some turnovers, I think, in the first half, but it was so nice because he came off the bench and it took so long because that first media timeout was really late.
Oh my God. It was under 14 minutes.
I was even under more. Yeah. It was in the 13s.
It was 13 and change.
And they brought him in. I was like, oh yeah, they got him to come off the bench too. That was nice.
Well, the difference for him when we talk about, okay, where's the ceiling of this team? And so many times when we talk about that, we talk about Rienk Mast. Can he get masty enough? But for Frager, the difference he's had since he got hurt, it's getting back into the offensive rhythm, but also you had it the other night and you saw more of it today. The energy and effort when he's not scoring the basketball.
Yep.
Like where he is defensively, going and grabbing rebounds, getting
it's the rebounding that I've noticed more than anything with him.
It's when he does those things, it's like, oh, you're not a scorer who becomes a little bit of a defensive liability, and you start to wonder, okay, are you scoring enough to make up for what's happening to you on the other end? He's playing so well without the basketball that when now you add in the scoring, and it's like, oh. Yep. Yeah. Frager's really friggin' good.
Yep. It feels to me like Price, Frager, and Sam Hoiberg are continuing to get better in every game. And that is unbelievably exciting about this team right now. Now, I think Mast, as we talked about ad nauseum, I feel like he's taken a step back. I think he took a little bit of a step forward again today, a little bit of a step forward the game before. But those three, you just hit on it exactly with Frager. I think he's making those off the ball plays, and especially with rebounding, I think he's getting to be a better defender as well. So I would echo all of that. And for Price, in terms of getting better, the thing that I would identify for him with that, Caleb, is just his increasing comfortability with going into the lane and driving. I saw a few of those tonight, and I was like, I don't know if he should do that. And he finished. Right. And to me, that when you see his, let's see, because he ended up having 32, 5 of them were threes, but he had 7 2-pointers in that game. And he missed a gimme. Should have had another one on that inbounds play that we were talking about. But
well, he ended up getting one later in that possession. So
yeah, he did. He did.
But
I mean, man, if you are not ready defensively, if you don't have a well-coached team, and I'm not even saying that USC doesn't, Musselman's been a good coach, but he's got kind of that NBA thing when it comes to defense. You can see it in his teams. And like, if you're not ready, like Iowa was, like Illinois and Purdue have been with their size, like, man, I don't want to go too overboard here, but you're in trouble against this offense at some point. And and that's mainly because of Fred Hoiberg. I think.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that you saw the really good teams in the league. You saw other teams do it, but not as effectively. But the really good teams in the league, you dare the officials to call the holding while cutters are running around. In particular, Price Sanford, but anyone else who's running around and trying to come off a screen or a back cut, like, they're holding Jamarcus Lawrence too. They're holding Frager. They're holding Sam. They're holding all these guys, but you're daring the officials to make that call.
Yeah.
If you're a team who can't do that at a high enough level to not get called and be overall physical throughout the game, then you're going to get eaten up by this offense at some point, as with the examples of a 12-2 run right away in the second half and then a 15-0 run. And also, Nebraska dominated the glass, Jack. Like, not just overall rebounds, but getting so many offensive rebounds, Nebraska was able to take 17 more shots in the game.
I cannot. I saw those. They flashed up the offensive rebound numbers during the game, and it was at that point, I think it was, I don't know, like 14-5 or something, or I don't remember what it was. I could not believe it. Like, it is. I mean, they didn't look like they were ever going to get an offensive rebound again after that Iowa game.
Right.
And USC, they have made multiple teams look like they can't rebound now after that Iowa game. Penn State looked like they could. It looked like Penn State wasn't given effort to rebound. And that's almost what it looked like tonight with this game.
And that's what Nebraska needs to do against teams that you are clearly better than. It's not just, okay, is it at Indiana? Is it Michigan State? Is it Michigan, Purdue, Illinois? Even throw in Wisconsin, who's still in a position to potentially get a triple bye in the Big Ten tournament. You have to go rebound like this. Have the effort to go rebound like this.
Yeah.
And a catalyst within that is not just, okay, Rienk, you're big, get a body on someone, Bear K, be kind of relentless. Almost the secret in that is Frager taking a step forward.
Yeah. And Sam. I mean,
Sam is kind of the given. He's going to do what he can.
Yeah, but as a rebounder, though,
at his size, and still be like, oh, I'm going to go grab more rebounds than anybody.
He's like, his rebounds, it feels like his rebounds were a lot of times were like hustle plays when the ball would bounce out long, and he would do that. Now he goes into the trees.
Yeah.
Like, intentionally all of the time. He's playing like he's a foot taller than he is. Speaking of Sam, Troy, thanks for the super chat, Troy S1 says, Jack, is Sam and your all-time favorite Husker basketball players? Stay legendary. Thank you, Troy, for the super chat. He will be when this is all said and done. I mean, I can't. It's always hard in a moment of recency to say something like that. But here's a good way for me to think about it: is when they're wrapping their career up, how much are you thinking, oh man, it is not going to be the same without that player. Right. And I said that about him before the game today, and all that did today was just build on that feeling about him. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's not going to be hard at all to feel that way. And then, I think it helps too that I know he's not originally from here, but like, I watched a lot of him in high school, and it's hard because it's almost just like the story is almost cheesy with him, right? He's thank you for the super chat, Troy. It's almost cheesy because he's the coach's kid. He's the gym guy. Like, everybody likes to sort of say that sarcastically about players a little bit. And with him, it's like, it's not that at all. Like it's completely everything. All of those stereotypes are true with him, and they're unbelievably important. Hustle, being in great shape, constant effort when others aren't giving it, all of that. It has paid off incredibly for him. There just aren't enough words at this point. And I hope and it's like, you're even like, well, I don't know if his statistics match up. Goodness sakes, he's top in the nation in turnovers to assists.
Yeah.
There's a stat like,
so
let's gotta be, and I think he leads the conference in steals. I don't know what he is nationally. I can look that up, but he's got numbers too with it.
Jack, to go a step further, because I remember doing this a couple of years ago when we would talk on some of the I-80 stuff, and it would be okay. And even when I was doing a morning show with you on radio, and it was okay, like, who are the guys you identify with on the basketball team? Because we would talk about volleyball, we would talk about women's basketball, and it was just like, the turnover is so much on the men's basketball team that you just didn't really have people that you identified with a lot, because they'd kind of be here for 1 year and they'd be gone, and you didn't know if they were all in on the team. But think about the last 3-ish years, just the number of guys that you're like, not only do I feel like I relate to these guys, but there's an impact they're leaving in Lincoln. You had the guy, and it's because guys are staying multiple years. It's Derek Walker. It's Keisei Tominaga. It's the McGowan's brothers, who have made Lincoln very much a part of their identity, even though they weren't here very long.
Yep.
Bryce, Jawan, Rink, Jamarcus coming back, and of course Sam. Like, it's all these guys that we get to be like, okay, we watched them for multiple years and have a big impact on this program. And of course, winning helps, but just the fact that they're sticking around, it's different in a way than it was 4 or 5 years ago, where you're just like, you're losing and you don't know if you can identify with any of the players in the program.
Yeah, and to that point, Caleb, like, he's the only guy in the Fred Hoiberg years, even though it's his son and he was a walk-on, he's the only guy that's gone from freshman recruit all the way up through their career. I don't think there's anyone else.
No, the last Husker men's basketball player to start his career and finish his career
and exhaust his eligibility
was Thor. Technically, Jamarcus is going to be in this because he started here, but he did go away for 1 year. But even then, to have anybody over the course of this time, where, as we talked about, it was just kind of shuffle guys in and out, see what's going to click, what's not going to click. Sam being that first guy several years in shows the change in philosophy once Hoiberg was able to kind of get everything set up. A big part of that was Nate Lenzer as an assistant when there was the shuffling a few years ago of the assistant coaches.
Yeah. And speaking of that, even, I know we're going to talk a lot about the second half tonight, but I thought the defense at the beginning of the game for Nebraska, I mean, I think they caused 4 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of the game. And they were really solid to start the game. It didn't stay that way. And again, when Sam went out, that obviously changed things a little bit, but I thought they started, people are talking about slow starts, but the defense did not start slow tonight at all.
No.
I thought they looked great. I mean, they were cutting off. USC was expecting to have lanes that weren't there. And yeah, that style of play it's tough for opponents in Nebraska with the way USC did it. All right. Couple of quick Discord notes, and then we'll get to the box score here in a second. I like this from Baymon. He says, if you told me one season a year ago that Sam Hoiberg would move to one of my favorite Nebraska players of all time, I would have called you crazy. Yeah, like, if you said that, you would be like, oh, well, that's just you kind of buying into the storyline. Right. But you don't need to do that at all. Let's see. We also have, he also said, Sam is now up there with Mikey Moore, Isaiah Roby, Keisei, and company for my faves. Yeah, I would have Isaiah Roby, Keisei, I might have Siobhan Shields on that list. I probably need some guys from my younger days too on that list. I need to think. Eric Strickland was always up there for me too. I'll have to put that together sometime. I'm not sure exactly what my top 5 overall would be. I've never actually thought that through, but it'll be hard not to have Sam on that, especially given that he looks like he is going to be a huge key to hopefully the most successful season this program's ever seen. And so,
yeah, it's one thing to be, okay, this is a likable person. It's a likable, lovable player with a great personality, and they clearly work hard, and it's a coach's kid, and it's a good story. Like that's its own thing. But the impact he has on the actual game, and you brought up the assist to turnover ratio and then what he does on the steals, but just an impact on the game that he has. And you build that in what he's able to do with other really, really good players. And in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people's opinions, should be a first team all Big Ten Price Sanford. Mm-hmm. And you've got a 6th man of the year candidate in Braden Frager, and you have a super high ceiling if he can get back to it, Rink Mast, and Jamarcus Lawrence does the stuff where at times when Nebraska's rolling, he just gets out of there like a bat out of hell, and it's your favorite thing. It's the salsa, it's the pace, baby.
He played with that pace in the second half. It was what I was talking about. And sometimes it was a little too fast for Jamarcus. He had a lot of turnovers. He didn't have a great game. He might be one of the players you'd say that about, but I still think him pushing the pace was a part of what worked so much in the second half once again. And it was interesting. The announcers kept saying, well, USC wants to get this thing going fast and Nebraska doesn't. I was like, I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like the offense is more dangerous when they're playing with that pace. All right, I want to get to the box score, but let's say a word about our title sponsor for the Nebrasketball Hour this year. It's Nebraska Realty Wahoo office, located between Omaha and Lincoln. And so they don't just serve Wahoo. It is that whole swath of the area of eastern Nebraska or beyond. So if you're in Omaha, Lincoln, you're listening to us, or anywhere in that area, they can provide for you, whether it's selling land, whether it's land auction, whether it's new construction, whether it's new subdivisions, whether you're just buying, selling your a regular residential home, all of those. So it's not just ag, it's not just residential. They've put this team together that can do all of it with Tim Shanahan, Dan Sanderson, and Kurt Malley, the OG full mask guy. I got some text from him again. And all local guys, all have been local forever, all big Husker fans, and they've been in the business combined for just a lot of years, well over 60 years altogether combined. And so you're going to find all of them in the top 10 of the performance for Nebraska Realty. So Caleb, it is it's a dream team here when it comes to realty in terms of their versatility and their success and experience.
Yeah, we talk about the guys for the Nebraska men's basketball team that have come in from other places, whether it's other countries, other states, other teams, transfer portal, or they go here and they grow up here, or they move here and then they make it their home. Well, these guys have been here, and they'll take care of you no matter which category you come from there across the state of Nebraska, not just the Lincoln and Omaha and obviously Wahoo right there between, but it can be out in the Sandhills. It can be down in Southwest Nebraska. It can be up around Valentine, wherever it is. These guys are going to know what to do when it comes to ag sales, when it comes to that land, when it comes to houses, and they're going to be people you want to talk to because they're all in the top 10 for Nebraska Realty. It's not just that they're here and they know what they're doing, but they're really stinking good at what they do too.
There you go. Give them a call, 402-720-0768 or 402-443-6767. We got a lot of phone numbers up there, but you can check those out. Kurt's number is up there on the corner. We'll get them hooked up with you if you're looking to do any of those things: buy, sell, ag land, estate sales, auctions, all of it. Thank you to Nebraska Realty Wahoo office for being our sponsor for the Nebrasketball Hour. Into the box score we go, and what a pleasant one it is to look at today. Jumping out at me when I initially look at this, I just said Jamarcus Lawrence didn't have his best game. He did have 7 assists in this game. It was just kind of the turnovers, and again, he had a man, he's like 2 for his last 30 shooting. It feels like he has just not been able to hit the broadside of a barn anywhere. But he ended up having a good night for assists. When you talk about those offensive rebounds, Rienk Mast had 5 of them, Caleb. Out of the 18 total, and Nebraska wins the offensive rebound battle 18-5 with that. And then you had Price had 6 total rebounds. Berkay had 6 total rebounds. Frager had 8 total rebounds in this game. Sam added 5 rebounds as well. That's what kept them. That's what gave them the chance, I think, that this thing didn't get out of hand in USC's way in the first half, is that they did not give them a whole lot of second chances in this game. They got their own offensive rebounds as well. And more than anything, I thought that was the big difference in this game. I'm surprised to see USC only had 14 turnovers in this game. I thought it was going to be more. Nebraska did end up with 12 in terms of turnovers for this game. But steals, Sam Hoiberg did not lead the team in steals tonight. Berkay did.
Yeah.
Berkay led the team in steals tonight. So I thought that was really key too. And the only other thing, Price 5 for 10 from 3. I mean, just absolute. And again, about 3 of those were just ridiculous shots. I mean, this whole thing where he shoots while running horizontally.
I don't know how he shoots like that.
Some of them look like, I mean, anyone else outside of a few players, you'd be like, that is not a shot we want you to take.
Yeah.
But he's hitting them. He is hitting them, and he's hitting them all the time now. His 3-point percentage just for the last, I mean, since the Iowa game, it's got to be close to 50%. I don't know what it is, but it can't be too far from 50%.
And it's his, I believe it's his third 30-point game of the season. So there's a lot to like there from Price Sanford. But like you were talking about with Berkay, 4 assists. The only person in the game with more assists than Berkay Buchtengel was Jamarcus Lawrence and his 7.
Yeah.
And that's with the no turnovers. He has a couple of blocks in the game. Like that was a super efficient 24 minutes of action for him.
Yep. Yeah, no, he was a key in this whole game. Frager, for his part, he only took 2 threes today. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
That's been his main mode of scoring since he came back.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, okay, if he doesn't have that, is he still going to be effective in the game? Okay, he's not hitting threes, he's not taking a whole lot of threes. Is he still going to be effective? I think our answer to that is an unequivocal yes today, right? He still made 5 other shots in the game. He got to the free throw line. He grabbed rebounds. Like if you can get that type of effort and energy, and you add he's going to make 3, 4, 5 threes along with Sanford, that's where you start to really blow things up.
Yep, for sure. Jared Garcia got in a little bit in the first half, ended up getting a couple offensive rebounds in the game as well. And Rienk's line for the night, 4 for 12 field goals. He did hit a 3, made both of his free throws. He gets in double figures again, but he did have those 5 offensive rebounds. But I think more than anything for him, and I said this earlier in the show, was just in the first half, he didn't look timid. Honestly, like that was as big as anything for me. He was driving a little bit. He was not just aborting when he had the ball one-on-one in post situations down there. He was going in, and he missed a few. But honestly, I just need to see him look a little confident offensively, and I thought we saw that tonight from him too.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, just seeing Rienk dunk, because there have been times where there's no one around and he just goes to lay it up, and you're like, oh gosh, is he gonna put this one off the window? There was possession early in the game where I think Nebraska got 3 offensive rebounds between Rienk and Berkay, and none of them went in.
Yeah,
it was like, man, somebody just go up and hammer it home.
I was like, if you're gonna get offensive rebounds, which you don't very often, at least get some points out of them. I'm looking at USC as I'm looking at the box score. They went 4 for 21 from 3. I think they had all 4 of those 3-pointers in the first half, Caleb. I think they didn't make a 3 in the second half.
The second half,
I think they, in fact,
from deep.
Yeah, in fact, I think they had all of their 3-pointers within about a 4-minute span in that entire game.
So all of the
they're cold
3-pointers that USC made came at 17-10, 10-34, 9-41, 8-23. Yeah, 3 of them
So
came
9
in about
minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the other
that
one
was
was
it.
a little early on, yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I said this morning I was not overly worried about this game, is they are just not a 3-point shooting team. And that I didn't think that would bode well for them. Just that kind of style that they play, I think it really works against some teams. I thought they were similar to kind of what we saw against Maryland too. And it's just the defense, man. It just the ability to manipulate that kind of defense for this team is amazing. So I don't know, Caleb, I guess let me ask you a bigger picture question before we give the Ryan Anderson Memorial Player of the Game. He's not dead. How does this change how you feel about, I guess, the next 2 games in particular? We don't need to extend it out too far. But how different do you feel about their chances of winning out now and going 3-0, which would be massive, especially with more results today that we'll get into. But how has this impacted your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, what you wanted to, if as we've done before, and we came into this season, and you're like, okay, if you can get to this point in the year and have this record, can you get through? Can you split this series? Can you go 1-2 or 2-1 this week? Think back to the Creighton, Wisconsin, Illinois week, and then things started to get weird because you're like, yeah, they're still winning. I think for a lot of people, the LA trip was just split it, and you're okay. Just don't go 0-2 in LA. Even though you are on the road, they are quad 1 games. UCLA has only 1 loss at home all season, and that was a double overtime game to Indiana. So, it's a tough place coming up to play, but the Bruins also just lost. So they're probably going to be pissed.
I could not believe that score. Man, Minnesota knocked off. I didn't see any of it. I just saw the score right as I was getting ready to watch the Nebraska game.
And then you add in Nebraska's final game of the regular season will be against Iowa, who just lost to Penn State, who looked like they had no interest in being on the floor when they were in Lincoln. Mm-hmm. So when you're adding up, okay, you want to run the table to end this season and get to 27-4, but you've at least split in LA, and you're going to feel good coming home, and maybe Iowa is feeling worse the way they play on the road. So you feel really good about at least getting to 26-5. You say, okay, you want to split these last 2. But what we've seen from this team, Jack, is outside of that stretch of 3-4 or 3-4 and then 4-6, this team goes and kind of handles their business 1 game at a time, as opposed to, can you go split this series? Can you go do this? I'm still confident in Nebraska being able to win out, especially if they're able to play like this. It just is going to continue to come down to, can you not get in foul trouble and have to play most of a half without Sam Hoiberg? I don't know how much of that first half changes if he's out there. If instead of down 5, you go into half, are you up 5? Is that the difference with having a different ball handler on the floor? I don't know. That's a lot of the what ifs, but what you got out of today was you were able to rest him until the second half and let him be 110% energy when he's already the most energetic guy in the second half, and it worked.
Yeah, for sure. If they can go 3-0, and we were talking about this game this morning, if you were watching the coffee show, and after talking through it with Josh, I was like, man, this is a big game today. I started to realize because this is as of right now, and it may not stay this way. That's a quad 1 win for Nebraska, because they're inside of the top 75. USC is in the net. So I looked it up. Yeah,
they are there at 62. And I do think, I don't think they're going to drop under 75. There's
this loss today shouldn't hurt them too much. Although I will say this, when you're talking about rankings, if your stupid freaking predictive metrics are not impressed by this win, what do you want? Can you just tell me what you want and I can tell them to do it?
Well, I win on Tuesday.
Not
on Tuesday will be massive.
Almost never losing and beating really good teams is not what you want. Okay. What is it that you want? Beating the absolute balls out of bad teams every time you play them, that's not what you want. What do you have to do? What's the code? Just tell me, Ken Palm. Just let me know, right? And I can let them know, and we can quit this stupid charade. Because if Florida won again, if they beat your favorite bubble SEC team, who's a bubble SEC team? I don't know. Kentucky. I'm not even sure who it is.
I don't think they're on the bubble.
Not a bubble
I think Kentucky's
team.
going to be safe in the end.
They're safe, but whatever. Just pretend there is one.
Yeah.
And they went on the road and beat them by 15 points. I mean, people would be, oh man, have we ever seen a team like this? 15 points on the road against an NCAA tournament team? Oh, get them, call Bart Torvik and move them up now. Like, what is it? What do you freaking want? I'm so tired, and I'm so tired of hearing people say, well, Jack, you don't understand. Here's what you don't understand when you point out Nebraska's quad one wins. They're looking at predictive metrics. It's about efficiency. What does that mean? Okay, like what? What do you need to do? You have a quad one win by 15 points on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know what it's going to freaking take. I just thank you for letting me go off on that. And I am going to try and not talk about Florida for every time I'm behind a mic for the next month. But I'm going to have a hard time doing it. And for goodness sake, John Calipari, can you do me a solid tonight and beat their ass? Please. I mean, we are all hogs tonight. Okay? We are all hogs tonight. And let's get the win for them. I want to talk about the whole setup. A couple of things before we do that, though.
Well, just a second on the predictive metrics. Remember, before the season, Nebraska was supposed to be 43rd in the country.
Right.
That Nebraska was preseason number 14 in the Big Ten.
Right.
Those are the predictive metrics.
Yeah. I mean, plug this game into your computer and let's see what comes out. But I'm just that's anyway. I said my piece on that. A couple of things I want to shout out my son Johnny's college house. I just got a picture. I wanted to share it, but I didn't know how to do it easily and in a way that wouldn't make Josh mad because it wouldn't be lined up with his graphics. So I won't. So calm down, Josh. But they are watching us on their projector in what has got to be the sweetest college house room that I've ever seen. They got a projector in there. They've got they got some sweet 1970s clip speakers hooked up to what was this a Sony receiver from the 80s, the same one that my dad had, and they got like a booth from a diner in there. It looks awesome. So thank you, Johnny. We're shout out, guys. Hope you're having a good time. Be safe tonight. So I got that. And then number 2, in terms of what I want to say, we're going to the freaking tournament. Nebraska's going. We're going. Hopefully you're going. But if you're not, you can pretend you're there because we're going to make you feel like you are there with the I-80 Club Roadshow. Dancing with the Scourge. Brought to you by Husker Power Products, Hastings Engines, Pumps, Generators. They're going to get it for you, and they're getting us there with that power to wherever we're going. Hopefully Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City might be a little more in range. We're going to get to that here in just a second. And if you're like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, great. You guys got a sponsor that said they'll bring you. That's awesome. But I mean, are you really got a lot of people behind you in this thing? Bang! Our community partners, Sandstone Wealth Management. Shout out Carney. Pinnacle Bank Arena. Yes, the home court of the Huskers. Lincoln's own symphony orchestra. Shout out Ed Polachek, the maestro. 5-Star Bath Solutions in Lincoln, new company. Shout out Trent. The Still Fine Spirits and Wine Store, Lincoln and Omaha. Yes, shout out Aaron. Eye Surgical Associates. Don's the only one who got his name on here. He's got it at the bottom of their graphic.
There you
you're
go.
Watching on YouTube. Sutton Linder and Sutton, get you some LASIK and visit Lincoln. Tell all your friends to visit Lincoln and potentially be here for the big celebration that will happen when Nebraska wins their first NCAA tournament game. If you're not on the road with us, we are going to be heading there. And if you want to be a part of it, you can even help us too by getting your own exclusive I-80 Roadshow Road Crew sweatshirt. Is that $100 sweatshirt? Yeah, it is. But it's a high quality
Is it friggin' sweet? Also,
friggin' sweet, and nobody else will have it. And it says Road Crew on the back, like you're part of the team. So if you're going, you can wear it. If you're staying home, you can wear it, and you feel like you're on the trip, and you're gonna help us make that trip. Which I don't know where it's gonna be, but I saw Joe Lenardi had a Tampa projection recently, and I might have you explain that in a second. But it may be a little more expensive than we were planning on. So, but we're gonna bring the whole crew up there. Caleb, myself, Mike Schaefer. Will be there as well, and Josh, and we're going to do all our shows, the coffee show. We're going to do Unemployed. We're going to do Nebrasketball Hour. We're going to do pregame. We're going to do postgame. Hopefully, we're going to be out at a sports bar with the fans for this whole thing. And
that road crew keeps growing, Jack. I know we listed off a bunch of names last time, but just yesterday, my buddy Eddie at One-Eyed Eddie's Sports Bar in Greeley. Shout out.
We got Greeley coming in for us?
Let's go. You want to be on the road crew.
Yeah. All right. It's time for the Ryan Anderson Memorial Player of the Game. Ryan Anderson is not dead. He's very much alive, and I hope he will come party with us in St. Louis or Buffalo or wherever we end up. Caleb, let's give it a try. Let's count it down or count it up, as it were.
All right.
And I think we'll see here. All right. 1, 2, 3. Sam Hoiberg. Come on. I mean, look, you can't really lose at this point, but I have to respectfully disagree with you on that. I think
there were three, in my opinion, three very good candidates, and you could not have gone wrong with any of the three. Okay, the one we didn't name was Bear K. I think any three of those are very valid. Wow. Ryan Anderson Memorial Player.
Hey, and Braden Frager's like, wait, 17 points and 8 rebounds, and I don't even get a medal in this whole thing. Wow.
Just off the stand. Just off the stand for Frager. He needed to not go 90 miles an hour and shot put the basketball off the backboard, and I think that's what did it.
Let's look at what's happened today in the college basketball world. And if you're listening on the podcast after the fact, you already know this, and so it'll be a little delayed for you. But Kansas, as Nebraska needed, did not put up a fight against Arizona. They lost by 23. So wherever they were today, I think Nebraska probably gained ground. Whether Nebraska's ahead or behind of them, you don't really know, because Nebraska was behind them last Saturday when the committee put out its ratings. We're not going to get any more of those. Since then, Kansas lost to Cincinnati, and they then beat Houston. I don't know how those two are weighed against each other. I don't know how they're factoring in the great predictive metrics that are so helpful with this whole thing. But
the fact that it was 23 points, like
yeah.
when you're doing the metrics,
you would think that might. I mean, if we're gonna hurt from these things, could we get some help from them too? So that's a positive in terms of Nebraska staying. Kansas, I think, is the most important team if you're looking at Nebraska's placement in terms of if you're looking at them staying someplace drivable, because they are a St. Louis, Oklahoma City team. If Nebraska can get ahead of them, if Nebraska can stay ahead of them, I think they're likely going to Oklahoma City. But here's the other outcome today. Texas. Go ahead.
Real quick before that one on the Nebraska versus Kansas part. I've got all of the metrics, and I put in the formula that it seems was very, very close to a almost 1-to-1 correlation with the top 16 reveal a week ago. Going into today, so as of this morning, Nebraska just behind Kansas, and that's the difference between going to Oklahoma City or Buffalo.
And that's in what is that rating by? How are you doing that?
So it's an average of the net KPI, strength of record, the WAB, BPI, Ken Palm, and Torvik.
Okay.
So when you add those 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, make sure I didn't do that too quickly. When you add those 7 together and you average them out, that was really, really close to being almost 1-to-1 for what the NCAA selection committee did last weekend. So that's how I've been following my numbers, on top of great guys like T3 Bracketology and those types of guys. Don't follow Lenardi. Like, he's one of the worst bracketologists, but a lot of people do reference it.
Nebraska moves up to number 5 in wins above bubble, by the way. That's a jump from where they were. So they are only behind Michigan, Duke, Arizona, and Connecticut. They're ahead of Houston. They're ahead of Purdue. They're way ahead of Florida. Surprise. They're ahead of Illinois. They're way ahead of Kansas on that one. But again, you get the predictive metrics in there or the efficiency metrics, and that drops them down a little bit. Still probably around that 10 or 11 spot in the rankings. The other result I wanted to mention, Caleb, was that Iowa State loses at home to Texas Tech.
Yes.
Texas Tech without Toppin has been incredibly solid. I think that has probably surprised people. You thought they would take a step back, but they get another win, and they would be a threat for that Oklahoma City spot. So we'll see how much. I mean, they do have 7 losses. They're 12-4 in the Big Ten.
Well, and that becomes two things that work against Nebraska. Is you want Iowa State high enough that if they're ahead, if Purdue and Illinois are still ahead of Nebraska, you want Iowa State in front of at least one of, if not both of them, to take St. Louis off the board from them. And so if Iowa State gets knocked down, and then Texas Tech, who was right behind Nebraska, actually 2 spots behind Nebraska as of this morning, gets a win, they start to move up and be in some of that conversation. So that's one of those results where things are working both in front of you and behind you in a way you don't want for Nebraska.
What this does do is, I agree with that your read on that, but what this does do is kind of put St. Louis a little bit back into the conversation again.
Yeah, it does. If you start to see Illinois and or Purdue and Iowa State and all of those guys start to come down and Kansas come down and Nebraska move up, it makes, yes, not just Oklahoma City, but St. Louis back on the table. You're absolutely right.
Well, Illinois is going to lose to 40 by Oregon, and they're going to move up in the predictive metrics. So
it's predictive.
Now. It's predictive and it's accurate. That's the thing we like about it.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned was, and I think it was with Lenardi or it was with someone else, not just talking about St. Louis or Oklahoma City or Greenville, or and then one of the other places for Nebraska in the top 4 is Buffalo. Tampa was on the board.
Yes. Can you because I was confused by this. You explained it in our Discord, which by the way, you can be on the Discord, patreon.com/i80 club, and have a whole community of fans to commiserate with, enjoy the games with, get information from Caleb and Schaefer and me and Josh and other, we got a whole bunch of people. We got Matt Kenobi from HHC in there. Got a lot of celebs in there. Local celebs. But can you explain how Lenardi put Nebraska and Tampa, which I've heard no one talk about?
Yeah. So so the reason in that particular bracketology is, yes, Nebraska, I believe, was the 3, but North Carolina was the 6. So North Carolina, it would be a de facto home game for them in Greenville.
Okay.
So what you do is you don't punish the higher seed by putting them in the in the backyard of one of the other seeds who would be in that foursome. So that's how it got bounced to Tampa.
So North Carolina could keep Nebraska Greenville proof. I don't know if there are any other similar scenarios to that, but that's one of the kind of the intricacies of that whole process that I haven't really factored in looking at this thing, whether it puts a lower seed too close to home. And so for that reason, then you might get moved not to the 2nd or 3rd or 4th place, but the one after that.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important for Nebraska to be high enough up there that you are getting one of these immediately closer sites, because I don't think there's enough other teams that it would be like, oh, they're too close to that site for you that you would want as a 2 or a high 3 seed.
Yep, for sure. And then in terms of, well, I guess other Big Ten games today, if we want to talk about that a little bit and what that is going to do to the standings. Penn State beats Iowa.
Yep.
Listen, Iowa beat Nebraska. Okay, it happened. They handled them. They played better than anyone has against Nebraska all year, in my opinion. So you hand it to them for that. I can't believe that Penn State team won another game. I mean, I cannot believe that Penn State team won another game. I mean, they looked so checked out against Nebraska. Yeah. So checked out. And Iowa has a lot to win for still in terms of seeding in the conference tournament, seeding in the NCAA tournament. That shocked me. But that wasn't the only result that shocked me, because UCLA went into Minnesota and lost to a Minnesota team with a losing record. So UCLA and Nebraska, by the way, that's not a good result for Nebraska. I don't think you needed UCLA to continue to look like a quality win. Now that'll still be a quad 1 win easily. The USC one's more in danger of losing a quad 1 status, but that was a result that I did not see. USC just, I'm sure Mitch. What do you think? What's the likelihood Mitch Cronin had something to say about travel after that game?
Well, I bet if he didn't today, he will on Tuesday, regardless of the result. He'll say it's unfair that his team had to travel more to get to that game than Nebraska did because Nebraska was already in LA.
Yeah, we're already there. And Fred was already excited about this trip to LA. Like he was talking about it on Wednesday night. Like he was doing the anti-Mitch Cronin about this whole thing. And granted, he only has to make one trip like that instead of several the other direction. But you could tell like he was just kind of fired up to go on a little business vacation.
Yeah.
If he's not yet sitting on the beach, he will be soon. I'm going to guess probably taking the team to In-N-Out Burger right now.
There we go.
Yep. Getting all that. And so I think they're going to have a good time there after that win tonight. And then while UCLA is still coming back from Minnesota.
Speaking of quad 1 wins, Wisconsin's getting closer to that with another win today.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Wisconsin wins 90-73 at Washington. That's a pretty impressive win. I think Washington was playing a lot better now, but Wisconsin blows them out. And then Northwestern gets a buzzer beater from Martinelli, and they beat Oregon 63-62. So they get a big win. And that is it for the Big Ten slate today. No night games in the Big Ten, but that is okay because as a Nebraska fan, you got a lot to watch still tonight. And by the way, Creighton down 3 with 9 seconds left right now. And I know you guys have been commenting about it on the Discord.
I think it's over.
Oh, am I that far behind? I must be behind then.
No, it just flipped final.
Okay. Creighton didn't win it, I'm assuming, if they're down.
Nope, Austin Schwartz misses a 26-foot 3-point jumper.
So games of note tonight, I've already talked plenty about Florida. Arkansas goes to Florida. That's a huge one for Nebraska. If Arkansas could pull that off. And then the other one, Gonzaga at St. Mary's tonight. Ooh, Gonzaga is a 1.5 favorite in that game.
West Virginia is currently beating BYU.
Really? BYU is one of those teams that seems to get matched up against Nebraska in the second round a lot in a lot of the brackets that I've seen. Yeah, that's only got 115 left. BYU just cut it to 3. I'm going to have to switch to that one here on my computer over here.
Oh, we got a lot of good basketball. We get to watch Jack, that's the fun thing about this year. We get to watch the good basketball teams, not just the bubble teams.
Yes. By the way, there were other good results today, too. I should mention Virginia, to the degree there was any concern, they were going to come up and get Nebraska from behind. I saw one where they were seated ahead of Nebraska. They got their doors blown off by Duke today, and Vanderbilt loses another game. And so, again, like I don't know what Vanderbilt and Nebraska would do I haven't watched enough SEC basketball to know, but at some point their resume it's just not there. It's not there to compare to Nebraska almost with whatever happens the rest of the year. And the other thing that I want to point out for those that didn't hear this morning, if you look at all of these teams now that are in that range of like the first 2 seed to the bottom 4 seed or so, Nebraska is the only one that has 2 quad 1 win games, 1 quad 1 win, 2 remaining. I won't actually flip off the screen. But nobody else has 3. In a weird way, Nebraska's schedule is harder than anyone's, but it's like good hard. It's not like at Arizona like Kansas had, but Kansas doesn't have games where they can make up a lot of ground anymore. And that's what I mean.
Like last night where it was Illinois and Michigan. Like it's not that brand of hard.
No, but it's quad 1 games. And if they get all 3, they'll end up with 10 quad 1 wins if all the other ones remain. And then if they had that Wisconsin one, it'd be 11.
Yeah.
Like that's getting into that's almost a guaranteed 2 seed territory.
And that moves some of the metrics around when you have the quads change a little bit like that.
I just think the end of this regular season, Nebraska has way more in terms of what they can do to move up than most of the other teams that they're being, kind of in that range of fighting for the 2-3 seed spots and maybe the 4 seed spots as well. So That's the other thing to point out. And then tomorrow, in terms of games, you got Purdue at Ohio State. That could be a big one. I mean, man,
Go
that could be a
Buckeyes.
big one. And that would be a quad 1 win for Purdue there. So we're all Buckeyes tomorrow. Michigan State at Indiana. That'd be handy if Indiana won that one for Nebraska as well. So road teams tomorrow on those two Sunday Big Ten games. 12:30 p.m. for Purdue, Ohio State. 2:45 for Michigan State at Indiana.
And that's all NCAA tournament. Jack, in the Big Ten, Nebraska, sole possession of second place.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's true. That Illinois loss against Michigan State. Wow, that was huge. And I'm just plugging in the results today in the simulator, Caleb.
Yeah.
Just to see. I got to adjust almost all of them because the wrong team is predicted to win.
The predictives?
Yeah. Oh, and Maryland plays Rutgers tomorrow too, it looks like. But let's do that. So as it stands this moment with the results from today in, the bracket looks like it did after Illinois lost to Michigan State for the Big Ten tournament. Nebraska would be the 2 seed if you had chalk the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Which you won't, but if you had chalk the rest of the way, Nebraska would be the 2 seed. And this is the crazy thing. It still sets up like this. Nebraska is on the opposite side of the bracket from Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, and Iowa. All 4 of those teams are on the other side of the bracket. Nebraska would play probably the winner of UCLA, Ohio State in their first game, unless Penn State or Maryland made a run, but probably the winner of UCLA, Ohio State. And then they would face either Michigan State or Wisconsin in the next game. And that whole side of the bracket, as I'm looking at it now, the Nebraska side that doesn't have Illinois, Michigan, Purdue, Iowa on it, if Nebraska beats UCLA, they will have been unbeaten against that entire side of the bracket. Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, Northwestern, Washington, Wisconsin, Michigan State, and UCLA, all teams that Nebraska has beaten in their one chance against those teams.
Okay.
Crazy. I cannot believe that bracket even exists. If that can happen, bring it to me.
Yeah, like hand me that now. So the next time IAD Club YouTube channel is going to go live will be Mike Schaefer, unemployed on Monday, but then Tuesday, after another unemployed, you and I are going to be part of a watch party for the UCLA game.
Thank you.
Central start.
Thank you for mentioning that. Caleb's coming over to my basement. I think we'll have Josh will be a part of it too. I'm hoping we can get Schaefer in for a little bit. We may have some other cameo guests as well. It's kind of like the Manning cast, and this is open to the public. It'll just be on our YouTube channel. We don't actually show the game on the screen, so you just have us as a second screen with the game if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You can try. We'll help you try and sync up to us where we're watching it. We'll probably be kind of behind everyone, so no spoilers. But we'll be behind everyone a little bit to give us people the opportunity to sync up with us if they want to do that. So that'll be fun. There will be no post game because the game starts at friggin' 10. Oh my gosh.
It's so dumb.
But I'm glad you mentioned that, Caleb. And Caleb is working on getting a setup so we can actually sit on my couch and do this instead of in this stupid, uncomfortable, like gaming chair, which was a Christmas gift for me and my family. So I do appreciate it, but
Merry Christmas.
It hurts my back. So sorry, I gotta reach down here to celebrate the end of the show. There we go. We are going with the retro.
Oh, nice.
The best beer that I could find. Shout out to Mike Schaefer. Oh, baby. Sitting right next to me. That is it for the Nebrasketball Hour. Big win today. Back with the watch along. Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Have a cup of coffee in the evening. Huh? Hadn't hit a monster at about 7:30.
Tuesday evening coffee show?
Yeah. Tuesday evening coffee show before. Get a little caffeine in you. Put the kids to bed. Put the non-Husker basketball watching part of your family to bed. And then gather whoever's left around the TV. Pull up the iPad. Pull up the laptop. Pull up the second screen. Get us on there. And let's have some fun with Nebraska going to UCLA in search of another quad 1 win against whiny Mitch Cronin. And probably a pretty partisan Nebraska crowd again, I'm going to guess, from what I saw today. I'm assuming all those people are going to the game at UCLA.
The Husker folks will be there.
Yep. All right, that is it, everybody. We thank you for joining us. We will see you next time on the Nebrasketball Hour, brought to you by Nebraska Realty Wahoo Office. Good evening. See you next time on the I-80 Club.